What's up, y'all? Welcome to my channel. If you are here for the first time, I want to say welcome. If you've been back before, thank you for coming back and showing support. I really appreciate it. I'm going to try and do this reading a little bit different than I've been doing them in the past. I'm going to start out with a bit of a pre-reading. This is some of the things that I picked up on before I started this video. Of course, as soon as I was getting ready to get started today, I saw that it was 1:44 on the clock. So if you're watching this, it's very likely that you are one of the chosen ones. You are one of the chosen ones. This tends to happen a lot for me. Whenever I get ready to do something, I'm seeing this 144. You may be seeing 444. You may be seeing the 144 synchronicity. But you should know that you are chosen. And even in the pre-shuffle that I did, I saw the card that came out was Mama Kila. And Mama Kila is the mandala of the moon. This is talking about that there is a powerful portal that you have access to, that your dreams, your aspirations, your intentions, they go through this portal. It's a powerful portal that allows them to manifest into the earthly and the spiritual realm. So you have this very, very powerful connection that you have incarnated in this earth with, and you need to remember that. And so, once you have set your intentions, you may be I feel like the person that's watching this is someone who is who likes to be in control. Like you are very active. When you're trying to get something, you take the steps to try and make it happen. But this is saying that this is a time right now when you just need to let your intentions flow through the portal and allow what's happening in the background to allow the process to work so that it will come into fruition. So it's about keeping the faith. You know that you have done what you can do. You can relax now. You can just allow it to happen. What you see here on the card are the moon cycles. So it's just like the new moon through to the full moon. You plant the seeds and then you let it grow and then you wait for the harvest. So I feel like you've done so much already with your intentions, the things that you are looking for. I feel like this is someone you perhaps have seen some signs that don't necessarily, point into the direction that that you're hoping things to go, but don't let that change your mindset to where you start planting new seeds of doubt. You need to keep your seeds of faith that the things that you have invested in are going to work out, because they are indeed going to work out. I saw at the bottom of this was card number 15, and that was the power of good. And with the power of good, you should know that because you have such good intentions and positivity behind your actions, that really, really sets you up for those things to actually manifest, right? There's that power of good card, which is Anja Durga. Anja Durga, she actually gives birth through the third eye of the black goddess. So this may be someone who is a very beautiful person with brown skin, dark brown skin. I'm seeing you may be of African descent, African American descent. You may be Afro Latino. This is somebody who who cannot be beat. You can't be overcome. It's invictus, the unconquerable. Nothing can conquer you. So I feel like these two together is saying that all you need to do right now is sit back, and the things that are coming to you will come indeed. All right. Let's get into this tarot. Two pop out. All right. And what we should see is that this is going to kind of confirm what we were seeing. We got the Fool, There is no passion in nature so demoniacally impatient as that of him who, shuddering upon the edge of precipice, thus mediates a plunge. So this is that thing about, when the time comes, you have to stay calm in that moment. It's like, it's like about not getting stage fright. Some people get on stage and then choke. And, that is that's a very, very bad thing. And that speaks to what I was just talking about with the cards from the Spirit Warrior, is that when the time comes, the things that you're wanting to unfold, you're getting closer and closer, it's about to manifest, and then you see something that wants to cause you to doubt it. And you definitely should not do that. I see something about a ring down there. I feel like that ring perhaps represents like a marriage to something. This may be like as you're getting close to a relationship or a commitment in a relationship. You're the kind of person, this could be the kind of person that, then gets really scared, gets the cold feet and jumps out. I know I have been through a situation where, right around the time where we get to that conversation about should we put a label on this? Should we say that we are on Love Island? They use terms like, are we? I might say we're exclusive, and then other people might say, oh, we're closing things off, meaning you're just going to only date each other and not date any other people. But you may be that conversation about, should we be boyfriend and girlfriend? Should we be taking the next step to get married? But then someone gets cold feet, right? I even met someone recently who was saying that, the night before their wedding, and like she was going to get married to someone from the UK. All of their family was here in the States. And the night before, the person backed out of the marriage, which, that can be really, really tough. But I think this is more about, your personal commitment. So it may not necessarily be to a person. This may be a commitment that you're about to make to, say, even if you are a reader, that you're about to make this commitment to doing however your readings are going to be. Maybe you're a writer, you're going to make your commitment to writing this book. And just as you're getting very close to like doing that thing, to like really stepping into that commitment, you have this tendency to want to focus on the negatives. This is not a time to focus on the negatives. This is a time to relax, to allow what you have invested in already to kind of unfold. It's the Fool card. The Fool can exist anywhere in the deck, which is a really powerful kind of concept, right? Because the universe can pick you up and place you where you need to be. That's what taking that leap of faith is. You never know where you're going to land. So you may be at the very beginning of the cycle, right, where you planted seeds, and you may not know. The universe may come and meet you more than halfway and place you in the position where you need to be. You maybe had tremendous setbacks, and it's bringing you and placing you where you need to be. The 10 of Candles. And all I loved alone. And I feel like that 10 of Candles is representing a lot of that doubt. You see like that monkey on my back, that kind of dark energy on his back. It's, we talk about dropping the burdens with the 10 of Wands. This 10 of Candles represents is the 10 of Wands. And it's really about dropping some of that hurt, not letting that, negativity ride you like a haint. It's really about, with this Fool energy, his hand is on the head of the cat, letting your magic work. You have, already put in the magic, and something is going to transform. This is that new beginning. That 10 of Candles, I feel like that's kind of like that past burden that you've gone through, and you'll be stepping into something completely new. At the end, that old cycle has ended, Tens are endings. Okay. And you got 10 and a 0, that's 100. You add another 0 to it. 0 times 0 is 0. 0 times any number is 0. But if you're adding that digit, that's 100. That's facts. 100. The 7 of pause. This is about work. So somebody is getting to work. I kind of mentioned, writing. See somebody at their desk doing some work. It's a 7, so this is probably, kind of spiritual work. So you may be someone who has this very spiritual purpose, and it's time for you to kind of get to work doing your spiritual purpose. It may be a call to ministry. It may be a call to write about your own personal spiritual experiences, but this is what you are being called to do. You should have seen how wisely I proceeded, with what caution, with what foresight, with what dissemination I went to work. That's a quote from that's Edgar Allan Poe. It's a quote from the story about him kind of creeping through the house in the dark, doing this. So I feel like you're working in secret, but you're working with a lot of precision about making something happen. And it's going, that's his one of his most well-known pieces. I think that's called The Telltale Heart. I could be mistaken. But it's about you had the foresight, you've done all of those steps. Like, you've done everything you can do. Now it's just time for you to allow it to unfold. And at the bottom is the 7 of quills, so you're getting the double 7s here. And again, that ring. So this is the ring is some kind of commitment, and it's really about defending yourself. So I feel like this is about, when negativity pops up, you have to be mindful about, how well you defend yourself against it. So, even in, my channeling, what came to me last night, I saw quite a bit, but one of the things that came to me last night was, kind of defense against the threat, right? And, I do feel like this energy of having to defend yourself is there. You may actually have to, it may appear like a very, a very big threat, a very violent threat. I don't know how it may manifest, but you have the ability to get yourself out of it. You really don't have to worry at all, because like I said from earlier, you are unconquerable. You have this divine protection all around you. And so you don't really have to worry about, the threat. Now, you do have to do some work. You have to be mindful and recognize the negativity when it is directed at you. You have to recognize that, spiritual attack when it's coming towards you, and you have to fight against that spiritual attack, right? I feel like, some of the other things that I saw were, because I think it also represents spiritual attack. Sometimes I see like this element of, really kind of connecting to some of the things that are talked about in the Revelations, like, those flying insects, giant bugs with like the teeth of beast and like, a sting, that's that kind of spiritual warfare that people kind of sending at you. But I kind of saw, swatting those things like down and taking them out. So I feel like you have this ability to, whenever it's coming at you, you have a weapon that you can just knock all that down and it doesn't affect you. Yeah, I wrote. I took quite a few notes from some of the things I channeled in my dreams last night, but that was one in particular that kind of stood out. And since we're talking about this thing of like kind of the work, I do feel like there's this thing of, you know, the commitment. It's about, you know, once you establish something, you kind of have to really stay committed to it so that it manifests the way that it should, right? So there is this thing of, you know, commitment, and it works. Commitment is not just about are you there actively doing what you said you were going to do. Yes, that's a part of it, but then it's also about are you actively committed to the principles that you say are your principles. If you say that, oh, this is how I'm going to function in this kind of spiritual way, am I committed to those kind of spiritual things? And that's the more, you know, tumultuous part. That's more tough to kind of stick with, because you know, you don't always, you know, you may say, I'm going to give up smoking, right? And even for me, you know, I felt like smoking was kind of taken away from me when I prayed. And I had smoked for so long. I smoked cigarettes for like over a decade. And then finally, like through prayer, it was just like, it's gone. But then hanging around certain people, not being so committed to my principles, I picked back up that smoking habit. But I do recognize that, you know, I know that that's not something that I want to stick with me, and so then I'm able to, you know, really continue in moving in that direction, knowing that it's something that's already been taken away. Just, you know, commit to not buying cigarettes, you know what I mean? And so it's been a little bit now that I haven't smoked any cigarettes. It's like remembering the Sabbath to keep it holy. What else do we have for my watches? Okay, that may be it for this day. The Queen of Wells, that's the Queen of Cups. I'm getting something about the throat chakra here. This is, you know, whoever this Queen of Cups is either somebody not wanting something to be said, or it's hard to get something to come out. Even right now, I feel like this kind of where what I'm trying to say is kind of almost like being attacked, like the throat chakra. Like it's hard for it to come out. Like my voice is not sounding the way that, you know, I want it to sound. You know what I mean? So I'm really can't even keep the card in my hand. And I see these, you see those drips, is like, you know, there's a lot of emotionality there. It's some emotions that just want to kind of flood over, you know, that want to come out. All right, yeah, so I'm gonna go back through these because I thought I was recording, but I wasn't. But we got denim on denim. I don't know, someone may be Canadian, or someone may have a connection to Canada. They call that denim on denim a Canadian suit. We got loving kindness and Akashic record activation that came up before. But what I was seeing before, when I thought that this was going through, I saw fraud. This fraud was about this fake family member that was fraudulent. Ain't his breath hot. That's gonna be confirmation for somebody. A paint gonna ride them. They're trying to send spiritual attack. You know, this low-level kitchen witch. '80s crack baby. That's gonna be confirmation for somebody too about that fake family member. They probably got crack babies for children. The right direction. This is where you go in the right direction. They're trying to put you in the wrong direction. They're a hater. And this gospel, the kingdom will be preached in all the world as a witness to all nations, and then the end will come. So we're moving in that direction toward the end coming. See what I'm talking about? That's confirmation right there. Tired and muddy. All right, I'm gonna stop it there.